tonight, let me just try to offer a few thoughts and a few observations. Again, I want to say congratulations to all of you. You are in a very special group, class, unit of people to have the chance to get a first-class education from one of the world's greatest universities. Don't waste it. Don't abuse it. Don't misuse it. You've got that credential, and it belongs to you. But with it goes some responsibility, some broader responsibility to think about others and to use all of that God-given talent that you've honed and shaped to do something greater. And I'll be back to that later in this presentation. Second, I just for a minute want all of you to know a little bit about the organization I'm proud to lead, the National Urban League. Civil rights in America today is misunderstood. Too many people, when they hear the term civil rights, they think about people marching, people protesting, or people litigating. And it ends at that. Those of you who are real and true students of history understand that what civil rights really reflects is a vision of a nation of equal opportunity. It's a vision of a nation where all people are treated equal. It's a vision of an America where all people can live and achieve to their fullest potential. And that marching and litigating were tactics utilized in the 20th century to accomplish and move the nation towards that vision. And people litigated in the 1940s and in the 1950s because Charles Hamilton Houston and Thurgood Marshall just couldn't get enough votes in the Congress to do anything. So they went to the courts, and they used the tool of the Constitution and its vision. And when Dr. King and Rosa Parks and the students in Greensboro decided to stage nonviolent direct action, they were doing it because they couldn't walk the halls of Congress and lobby on behalf of civil rights legislation and get the nation's attention. They needed to do different things. Civil rights is much more than the tactics that we may remember from history. So it's as relevant today in the 21st century of this nation, in the 3rd century of this nation's history, when you and your generation will preside over this transformation to an America that will not have a majority ethnic group, an America that will be a mosaic and be a tapestry unlike any other time in American history. And you're going to preside over the great institutions, the public institutions, the private institutions, as this nation makes that very important trek. So now, as much as 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, this vision of a nation where every single person, regardless of where they start or regardless of their station in life, can have an equal opportunity to use their talent to live a good quality of life, has to remain uppermost in your thoughts and in your work and in your commitment. So the National Urban League, unique amongst civil rights organizations, we were not the litigators or the marchers. We were the people who tried to work directly with people to prepare them to take advantage in the 60s of the doors that were opened. So we were the job trainers. We were the youth developers. We were the home ownership educators. And we do that very important direct work today by serving 1.3 million people in 100 communities with a great focus on this notion of economic empowerment. On your mind today, and on the minds of this nation, is where are we in this age of Obama? 100 days ago, he was inaugurated as the president of this great nation. And I want to say a few things about the president. First, President Obama is not a messiah. And we need to understand that, as proud as many of us are about his very important accomplishments, he's not a messiah. He's not a magician. He can't wipe away all of the ills and all of the problems that this nation faces. But he is a very, very talented leader. Number two, President Obama cannot do what is needed in this nation by himself. No matter how powerful the presidency is, this is not an imperial dynasty. And the president does not rule by decree. He is going to need a lot of help, a lot of energy, a lot of cooperation, and a lot of commitment to do the very important things that we need. Number three, this notion of a post-racial America is absolute garbage. And I'll tell you why. What this is an embrace of a multiracial America. And what does that mean? Why is that different? We all ate salad tonight. The salad had lettuce, and it had cucumber, and it had blue cheese, and some of you all might have had a little slice of tomato. But all together, it is a salad. The tomato is no less a tomato. The lettuce is no less lettuce. The cucumber is no less cucumber because it's in the salad. But together, they make something that is greater than the sum of those parts. We must recognize that it is very important for Americans to balance this idea that each and every one of us should and must be very proud of our ethnicity, of our nationality, of our race, while at the same time understanding that that is not inconsistent with this vision of a pluralistic America. And it's a very different notion than saying we're post-racial to say we are multiracial. Because to say we are multiracial means that we can, in fact, look at our neighbor who may be different in worship, different in background, different in ethnicity, and respect them and love their very essence as an individual, while at the same time asking that they do the same thing for us. We've got to chart this vision and not be afraid of this notion of pluralism, this notion of multiracialism, which is going to be the strength of this nation in the 21st century. So what President Obama represents is a multiracial America. And in a multiracial America, he is not a president who happens to be black, but he isn't the black president. He's a president who is black. And we must understand and have a clear sense of what this is and what this represents. And that's my strongly held point of view, because children in this nation, at a time when we have children from all over Latin America and Asia, we have children of mixed parentage, must have a clear sense of their ethnicity, must have a clear sense of their heritage, so that they have the self-esteem and the pride that is necessary for success. You got to believe in yourself to succeed. You can't be ashamed of yourself and your heritage if you're going to succeed, but that's not inconsistent with a vision and the future of this nation. Number three, what we're experiencing as a nation today, unemployment in California in double digits, unemployment across the nation in the almost 9% range, hundreds of thousands of people losing their homes due to foreclosures every month, have rocked and shattered many people's faith in the free market system. And I believe that our faith in the free market system should not be shattered, but maybe our faith in how the free market system has been managed needs to be questioned. So where does that leave us? I think it leaves your generation and my generation and those of us that will emerge, either have positions of leadership or emerge into positions of leadership, with the need to re-architect, if you will, what this free enterprise system really is in the 21st century. What is the role of regulation versus the free market system? What is the role of consumerism versus an embrace of business? How does the notion of protecting jobs at home fit within a global economic environment? These are going to be very important questions that all of you are going to face. I think what we need is a new brand of capitalism, and I'll borrow a term from the past, but I'll call it compassionate capitalism. We need a capitalism that is not afraid to balance the greater good with the pursuit of profits. We need a form of capitalism that is not afraid to say that it is very important that the benefits of prosperity in this nation, and we should evaluate the benefits of prosperity by how many people can participate in this prosperity. You see, it bothers me, as it should bother you, that while on tonight, talented young people are preparing to graduate from Stanford Business School, that in Detroit and in Memphis and in Atlanta, there are just going to be so many children, mostly black and mostly brown, who are not going to finish high school this year and may never finish high school. And they could be destined to dead-end jobs. It should bother you, and it should cause us to ask whether or not in a nation of, even in these difficult times, a nation of plenty can reconcile the fact that this plenty must be shared, and we must evaluate capitalism on whether it can provide benefits to all. This afternoon in the hotel, I turned on the television, and there was a segment on the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and the Habsburgs and these giant castles and the royal family and all of their jewels. And the commentator began to talk about the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and how it was influenced by the Roman Empire and how that was influenced by the Greeks, and talked about the great British Empire, and concluded by saying that all great empires see their rise and they see their fall because of excesses. We must confront the fact that what is truly on the line in this deep and difficult economic crisis is the future destiny of this nation. And you're not going to hear that from politicians and people in elected office, because it would be attacked as being negative. But I don't think it's negative, because it is the question that roils and boils underneath the surface. In the boulevards, in the streets, on the main streets of America, Can we rebuild a financial services sector that truly is fair and profitable and competitive on a global nature? Can we save American manufacturing, which provided for generations of people who did not have a high school diploma or a college degree, a decent job with good wages, health, and retirement benefits? Can the United States of America, which has fallen far behind China and Russia, fallen far behind Germany and India in our production of people with engineering and technical skills, keep pace in the future with the construction and the building of its technology sector? These are the questions that you are going to face. These are the questions that business leaders in this nation face, and these are the questions that political leaders in this nation faces. They're going to be the challenges that your generation faces. So I say this: every generation throughout history has the great challenges of its times. For my parents and many of your parents and grandparents, it was the 20th century's great challenges. It was World War II and Nazism. It was civil rights and the equal rights movements of the 1950s, the 60s, and the 70s. In the early part of the 20th century, it was the merging of immigration, people coming to this nation from Europe, migrants moving from the south to the north, the Industrial Revolution, the rise of technology. All of these great challenges in the 20th century created the world that we as a generation have indeed inherited. But here we are staring in the face this notion that perhaps our children and children's children we will leave them a world that may be less than the world we inherited. I'm going to put it on the line for you all tonight and say that my generation will have to accept some of the responsibility for the decisions that were made in this economic crisis that we're facing. And I don't think that while it's easy to say, let's point the finger at the captains of industry and the titans, let's point the finger at people who led the nation and the Congress, when historians look at it, it's going to be whether an entire generation failed this nation after the baton had been passed to them with a great deal of opportunity and prosperity. Your generation may be the generation that's got to run the rescue mission, that's got to lift up, that's got to re-architect, that's got to create a new vision for change. I think you're up to it, and I know you're up to it because I know that you're well-educated and smart enough. That's not the question, whether you have the technical ability, the mastery of numbers and theories, whether you understand finance and accounting. That is not the question. The question goes deeper than that. It is, do you have the leadership? Do you have the commitment? Can you muster up this sense that with your talent you owe something to yourself, but you owe something to something bigger and certainly to something broader? It'll be up to you to retool the education system in this nation. Look at what has occurred. It is far too expensive and too difficult for so many talented young people to be able to afford college in this nation today. That's not something we can say we have got our education. I do not care about anyone else, because you will lead great business institutions, nonprofit institutions, or government institutions, and you're going to need talented people to hire to be able to accomplish your goals. So it is your business as future leaders what happens to these young people today. I just want to leave you with a thought and a challenge. And that is, as you think and as you celebrate and as you prepare for your next steps, I hope you will discuss and ask yourself, what will be the role of our generation in 21st century America? What will be our collective role as a generation that will inherit a challenging economy, challenges and troubles with schools and education, but will also inherit a nation with an economy larger than any economy in the history of humankind? What will be our challenge? What will be our mission? What will we accomplish together? I think that is what is so very important as you face the future. So I congratulate you. And on a night like tonight, it's a night to be happy, but it's a night to be sobered by the realities of what indeed you will face. But I hope you will be inspired by the generations that have gone before us, that have opened doors, that have fought the battles, and that have led the way. They inspire me each and every day in each and every way. One of my colleagues in the civil rights movement told me a story that he had a testy exchange with a very talented young person who said to him, you know, civil rights did not pass accounting for me. Civil rights did not pass finance for me. Civil rights did not pay my college tuition. And civil rights did not add one extra notch on my resume. And this person looked at him and he said, you're absolutely, positively right. Civil rights didn't do any of that. But he said, civil rights got somebody to read your resume. And don't you forget it. Thank you very much.